Hey, Lane. Lane, you lost a third starter on Sunday when Isaac went down. What's your confidence level right now of this line's ability to go forward and be successful without three starters?
I'm pretty confident. I mean, this has happened numerous times where guys have had to step up. Losing Isaac is hell of a player, a guy that can play all positions on the line, has done it, and losing a guy like him is huge for us. But we need him in the room, helping with the young guys. But I think Herbie stepping up, Pryor stepping up. All these guys, these young guys are getting in, getting some playing experience, and just going to get better with each week.
We'll go Jeff and then Dave.
Lane, it looked like you and Herbie had a good day on the right side. What's it like playing alongside him? What are some of his strengths, and how do you guys complement each other?
Man, I just like his energy. He's a young pup out there. He gets me going, seeing the excitement in his eyes, getting a few starts under his belt, and he's a guy that's, like I said, just keeps progressing. And one thing about him, man, his energy's always high. He gets me amped up, and just a good partner to play with, and always happy, man. So I like going to work with guys like that.
Dave and then John.
Hey, Lane, with two young guards in there, does that put more stress on you and the two Jasons?
I mean, it all goes down to everybody doing their job. I mean, guys coming in, they're young. Yeah, you lack experience, but everybody has an assignment to do. And, yeah, I mean, I expect to do my assignment well. If I have any games or anything, I'm expected to keep them off the guards and make it easier. So it's a lot of give and take with that. But, as far as the reps, they're getting those now. They're getting game experience. And, when you're a young player, the more action you get, the better you're going to be.
John and then Ed.
Hey, Lane. How did you feel coming out of that game, and were you surprised at the level you played at? Looked like you had a pretty clean game after not practicing for a pretty significant period.
Yeah, I got to work on my condition. I kind of got tired there towards the end. That, and then you go back and watch plays. There's obviously, a lot of plays you can get more effort in and, get in better shape and just keep climbing. So, yeah, I'm just glad to get out of that game healthy. And the longer I play, the less I'll think about this ankle to heal up. So each week it's getting better. And, man, just we got to get a win, man. Winning cures all.
Ed and then Kristen.
Hey, Lane, that's kind of my question. What does this team need to do to get a win and to get out of this 0-2 hole?
Yeah. I mean, there's no talking we can do. There's nothing, you can say what you're going to do. It all goes down to really focusing in on game day, going and attacking the game plan, eliminating errors. I mean, really, everything you have to do is what you got to do. There is no shortcuts in this game, in this league. Guys are too talented. So, yeah, we're backed into a hole. But, the good thing about this, man, is you got to fight your way out. And, really, that's what we got to do.
Kristen and then Zach.
Hey, Lane, same kind of vein of questioning there. But obviously, we're not in the locker room to kind of see how you guys are interacting. So what is it like with you guys right now, as you say, fighting your way out of this hole?
Yeah, man, you get backed into a corner. In this league, there's lots of ups and downs. There's been teams that can have, come back from difficult odds. So with how we've done in the past, the resiliency of the players and the people that have been in this building, I expect us to do more of the same. It's disappointing to have that happen, but like I said, the focus is all about this week, and we can talk about what we're going to do, but it all goes down to execution, and that's really it. That's all I can really tell you.
Zach and then Martin.
Hey, Lane, you spoke to us last week about how the run game was key, and you guys seem to run the ball better, obviously, week 2 than week 1. Is that something you think that the team should lean into even more going forward?
Yeah, I think it goes, like I said, a lot of give and take there. If we start running the ball early and giving him signs that it's going to be successful, then a lot of times we have a good day. A lot of times when we don't start off so hot in the run game, it makes it more difficult for us. But I feel if we can get that thing going, it takes a lot of pressure off the passing game. It makes the game a lot easier for us. It helps the play action game. So overall, it's a big piece of our offense.
Martin and then Les.
Hey, Lane, you've played with Carson for his entire career, and obviously he's kind of been taking a lot of flack for the first 2 games and everything. What are you noticing about his demeanor, his confidence level and everything like that? Obviously you only played the 1 game, but what have you noticed about that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as him, he doesn't blink. I mean, he's going about the work the same way he has. He's a diligent worker. You know, there's some throws he'd like to have back, but other than that, man, really his resiliency. I mean, he doesn't flinch. So, I mean, as far as moving forward, I think the intensity is going to pick up and the focus is going to pick up, and we're going to start winning.
We have time for a couple more, so we'll go Les, Bo, and then Damo.
Hey, Lane. Actually, I was going to ask pretty much the same thing Martin asked, so I'll kind of tweak that a little bit. You've been through a lot of ups and downs with him, and you said, he doesn't change, but do you think, is there anything different this year that makes this so much harder for him? Do you think he's pressing? Do you think there's something that we don't, that we can't see that's causing this?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, in this league, I mean, either at the end of every year, every player sits down at the table and they give you a thumbs up or thumbs down. So really, with that, I mean, with the offseason we have, that we had this offseason, not a whole lot of time for as offensive guys to click or, but that's all across the league. So really, man, when you go back and look at it, there's a lot of stuff that he's doing well and a lot of big time throws, maybe one or two throws you like to have back. But other than that, man, if we can get the run game going, take the pressure off of him, get him into a good rhythm, if we can start getting ahead early, I think that'll help us out a lot and keep the momentum going. So instead of digging ourselves out of a hole every game.
Thank you.
Hey Lane, I don't mean this as an excuse, but how weird was it playing with no fans and especially even before the game, sort of getting yourself amped up for the game?
Yeah, it feels weird. It definitely feels weird. With every football game I've ever been a part of, it's been usually stadium's been packed, whatever number that's been. But yeah, as far as your focus, your energy, you can hear everything that the defensive line's saying. They can hear everything that we're saying. So I guess you try to lower your voice some in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage a little bit, but. Yeah, it's a really eerie feeling, not having guys or people tailgating. It's weird, especially here. Really weird.
Along those lines on the offensive line, defensive line thing, there were a couple of plays where you and Aaron Donald were sort of talking after the plays. What were you guys talking about?
I was telling him that he feels like a stump when I try to block him. It's like moving a damn stump out the ground. That's what I was telling him.
Good. Thank you.
Lane, you went to a short passing game last week for obvious reasons with Aaron out there and giving up 8 sacks in the first game. But obviously with Jackson, with Deshaun and Rieger, you want to take shots downfield. Mm-hmm. How confident are you that at some point here you're going to be able to do that on a regular basis?
Pretty confident, man. We're going to start blowing the lid off of people. So, you saw that big play with Rieger. Against Washington, you know what Deshaun can do and other guys. So it's only a matter of time. So I like to see it soon, just like everybody else. But, yeah, I know what those guys can do, and I have no problems with big plays.
Hey, Jalen, from your perspective, what was the biggest issue on defense on Sunday?
Us winning first and second down. That was one of the biggest things that we preached. Knowing that they were going to run the ball, but also, trying to get them in those longer third down situations, which plays more benefit into, our D-line being able to pass rush and us as a back end, being able to, exclude certain routes that they may run, on shorter down and distances and make them actually have to run routes down the field.
Kristen and then Jeff.
Hey, Jalen, when we were speaking with Jim Schwartz earlier this morning, he mentioned the thing that he wants to see from this defense this week and moving forward is the response to adversity. He feels like you guys maybe in the first 2 weeks haven't had that response to adversity, which you have as a defense before. I'm curious your thought on how this defense in particular can respond to adversity in, again, games like the Rams last week.
Yeah, go out there and be ourselves. The biggest thing that me being here, this being my 5th year, we've always faced adversity. And the way that we handled that was, nobody, doing anything, uncharacteristic and just going out there and being ourselves and playing our type of football. I think that's the perfect solution.
Jeff and then John McMullen.
Jalen, obviously the Rams offense is unique, but do you expect a lot of offensive coordinators to run a lot of that misdirection and the jet motions and naked boots on you guys after you had didn't have much success against it on Sunday?
Yeah. This is a copycat league, offense, defense, and special teams. Of course, offenses are going to run what they're going to run, their bread and butter plays. But we have to know that we are going to get attacked until we stop it. At least a couple times each game from each team that we play. Like I said, until we stop it. We come out, this game and we get the boots and the different type of things that that affected us last week or Sunday. Teams will bottle them up and throw it in the trash.
John and then Rob Motti.
Hey, Jalen, curious your thoughts on the red zone issues. You've been very successful personally as a red zone player and the team since you've been here. I think it's 7 of 9 giving up touchdowns. Do you see any theme to that?
Yeah, we just got to play better. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that we pride ourselves on, as a defense. If they don't score, they don't win. And if it is a situation where they do get down there, we at least want them to, at least if they have to, make a field goal, and that's it. So I think that's just the biggest thing that I can take from you on that question.
Rob and then Les.
Jalen, Jim Schwartz put it all on him, said his game plan was he had a poor game plan. That was the problem. It was too simple, and he thought he needed to make it more complex. And he said he didn't make it more complex until after the third series, and they had scored 3 touchdowns. What do you think of that assessment, and what could you have done to execute his game plan so he wouldn't think that it was that poor?
Oh, man, a lot of respect for Schwartz, You don't see a lot of defensive coordinators coming out saying those type of things, for sure, putting everything on the line for himself. But also, regardless of whatever he said, us as players, coaches coach, players play. And we got to have his back too, regardless if he felt like he didn't give us a good game plan or not. We still got to go out there and execute whatever the play is being called and play, to the highest standard. You know what I'm saying? If we go out there and then we don't play good, he's going to put us in a good situation. If he felt like he didn't put us in a good situation, we have to bag him up. So that's the only thing I can say. We have to bag him up just like he bags us up.
Les and then Martin.
Hey, Goblin.
How you doing?
The red zone thing, Jim mentioned that teams are running the ball across the goal line on you guys, which hasn't happened a lot in the past. And just the overall, what John mentioned, the 7 of 9, this is one of those areas, I guess, where people are going to look at the fact that Malcolm isn't here and you are here. And, how do you take all that? Are things being diagnosed correctly, particularly in the red zone? What's going on?
I mean, I don't see the comparison from, like you saying, guys running into the end zone and Malcolm not being here and me being here. There's no comparison to that. At the end of the day, this is the Eagles defense. Malcolm doesn't play for us, so people can get that out of their heads. So much respect for him and what he's done for not only me but this team and this organization. But I mean, as far as that goes, that's just us as a defense. Get those kinks, fix them, and get over it.
We have time for a few more, so we'll go Martin, Ed, and then Zach.
I was pretty much going to ask the same type of question regarding Malcolm but I guess obviously he was known as a great leader while he was here and stuff. And when things were going all, wrong on Sunday, would he have gotten the guys together and said, hey, what's going on? Let's get this right. That type of thing. That
happened on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? It did happen. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to, like I said, us as a team, or even the defense, Malcolm did a lot here. You know what I'm saying? Could never take that away from him. Like I said, that's my big brother. I text him before the Redskin game, the Washington football team, and then I talked to him before we played the Rams. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's my big brother. But at the end of the day, I feel like that we got to get that out. You know what I'm saying? People got to get that out of their heads. everybody watched the game last night. 27 was playing for the Saints. You know what I'm saying? At this point, this is the Philadelphia Eagles. So as far as questions with Malcolm and things like that, like I said, that's my brother. All due respect for him. But can we, please stop doing that? Like, this team, we have enough leaders. We have enough captains. There's no void as far as in our leaders and our captains on this team. And guys are doing their part. We had a rough patch these past 2 weeks, and we're going to get them fixed.
Hey, Jalen, you're an LSU guy. I know you and Joe Burrow didn't cross paths, obviously, there. But how much do you know about him? Did you watch him play on television last year? Do you know him? Have you met him? What do you know about Joe Burrow?
Of course, I watched him. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big alumni on my school. I love my school. But the biggest thing now that you see for him is the progression, and it's actually really good knowing that he didn't have OTAs in the offseason where you see during the offseason quarterbacks go out of town, they get to throw with their receivers and things like that, and you see him at the line making checks and things like that as a rookie. That's very, very impressive. Also, his pocket awareness. He's moving out of simple sacks that you see, like I said, younger quarterbacks, not moving their feet or they don't have awareness, and guys are grabbing them and pulling them to the ground. So I think the biggest thing for me watching him on film is his pocket awareness and actually making checks at the line of scrimmage.
Last question here with Zach.
Hey, Jalen, I think it's fair to say that the linebackers are probably the most inexperienced group on defense this year. And we see watching the game that you're in communication with them a lot. What's the relationship between the safety and the linebackers on the field, and how do you think that group is doing right now?
Yeah. Whenever, we are in a position to where we have to communicate with the linebackers, it's pivotal. It's one of those things that, especially, playing the Rams, with all the trick stuff that they do and motioning guys here and bringing guys back, that was, 100% what we had to have was communication. Also, on top of that, as far as that group goes, we got athletic guys from the Mike, the Sam, and the Will, guys who can run, guys who are smart. Just got to work the kinks out. You know what I'm saying? That starts at practice, and that's for everybody at each position, offense, defense, and special teams. You know what I'm saying? Communication is key all across the board.